A young woman and her friends are having a fun trip. Unexpectedly, a truck loaded with logs speeding ahead suddenly loses its grip, and the logs begin to fall, smashing violently into a patrol officer driving behind. A bike rider thought he could put on a show, but he wasn't good enough. I think he made it straight to heaven, The accident was so disastrous that no car coming toward that lane at that moment survived. People are trying their best to dodge the falling logs, but once you're on death's list, escape seems impossible. I think this guy is so unfortunate and suffered the most painful death. The young woman and her friends who were involved in the accident thought luck was on their side, but the next second, a truck burst out of the flames and crushed them to death. That's when the young woman, Kimberly, snapped back to reality. It turns out everything we just saw was only her premonition. Frightened, she turns and sees the same beggar from her vision standing by her window. Next, a school bus drives past. Her eyes widen. Even when she tries to turn on the radio, it's the exact same news from her premonition. It's clear. She has seen death approaching. She immediately tries to alert her friends that they are all going to die. She just saw it. But they didn't take her seriously. With no other choice, she drives ahead and blocks the road with her vehicle. She can't just stand by and watch everyone die. Just then, the patrol officer notices and steps forward to find out what's going on. Kimberly firmly tells him everything, but the cop is still confused. Things like that are very hard to believe. The next minute, a truck loaded with logs drives past, the exact same truck from her premonition. She begs the cop to stop the truck, but it's already too late. Suddenly, the truck crashes, causing a fatal accident just a few kilometers away. Everyone is shocked. The cop rushes to call for backup. Just then, another truck comes from behind, charging toward Kimberly, but the cop reacts just in time and pulls her out of the way. Instead, the truck runs into her vehicle, crushing it together with her friends, causing the vehicle to explode. Kimberly screams in pure agony. She just escaped death. Next, we see everyone Kimberly saved from that accident gathered at the station. Kimberly explains that just like the guy who saved lives with his premonition on Flight 180 1 year ago, that's exactly what happened to her. She saw everything before it happened. Just then, one of the survivors in the room speaks up. He explains that even after those people were saved from the Flight 180 incident, death still came back and killed them, one after the other. But the cop adds that one person actually survived by locking herself away in voluntary confinement. So technically, death is coming for all of them in that room. But most of them don't believe that death is actually knocking at their door. So one by one, they leave. Then we see Lewis, one of the survivors, arriving at his apartment with his belongings. He walks straight into the kitchen to make lunch, but death is already making its move. While he is admiring the gifts his girlfriend bought for him, his microwave suddenly malfunctions. As he moves closer to check, his ring on his hand drops into the sink. He tries to pull it out, but his hand gets stuck. In that moment, his meal overheats and catches fire. In panic, he tries to use whatever is within his reach to put out the fire, but that was a big mistake because he ends up setting the entire place ablaze. He struggles to pull his hand, and luckily he succeeds. Immediately, he grabs the fire extinguisher to put out the fire, but it doesn't work. He tries to escape, but death has already planned everything. Luckily, he breaks the window, narrowly escaping through the balcony. As he climbs the ladder, he suddenly slips and falls. The ladder somehow loses balance and launches straight at him. Oh, holy sh!
I know you were kind enough to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my next breakdown. Oh yeah, thank you. Quickly, the news of Lewis's death spreads. Every one of the survivors hears it, and they are all terrified. Kimberly is restless that night. She starts searching for the woman who survived death's list after the Flight 180 incident. She finds her. The next day, she tracks her down to an isolated hospital. The receptionist makes sure Kimberly has no items with her, not even her phone. Only then is she allowed to see the woman, named Claire. She steps into the small room. On seeing her, Kimberly explains everything. But Claire calmly makes her understand that death is inevitable. Once you're on death's list, there is no way to escape it, and it follows a strict order. That's why she chose to lock herself away, just to stay alive. But Kimberly calls her a coward for not helping others and walks away. Kimberly meets up with the cop again. It's clear now, the cop is beginning to believe her. Just then, pigeons fly by, and Kimberly immediately sees the sign. If what Claire said is true, then Tim and his mother are next to die. So they rush out to find Tim. Then we see Tim and his mother at the hospital. Tim is there for a dental checkup. As the doctor begins examining him, death is already nearby, setting its trap. Water starts spilling toward an electrical socket. A pigeon hits the window violently. A strange noise comes from outside. The doctor steps out to check. Next, the spilled water causes the oxygen system to malfunction. An object above falls straight into Tim's mouth, but the nurse arrives just in time and saves him. Tim and his mother leave the hospital. From a distance, Kimberly and the cop call out to them, but Tim runs ahead to chase the pigeons away. Suddenly, an object from above crashes down, killing him instantly. His mother screams in pure agony. The next day, Kimberly and the cop discuss their next move, but Claire suddenly shows up. Together, they visit a strange mortician, Claire's friend. The man reveals that the only way to beat death is to balance it with a new life. To defeat death, a new life must take its place. After hearing this, they leave. At a gas station, Kimberly has another premonition. She sees herself crashing into a lake. She snaps back, confused. Just then, the cops suggest they find the pregnant woman from the accident. If she gives birth successfully, death can be defeated. With the cops' help, they track her down and detain her for safety. 2 days later, they all gathered once again. The whole survivors discuss how to look out for each other while they figure a way out, if they must stay alive. But Laura, Tim's mother, and Eugene, the dark-skinned guy, refuse to stick with them. So they both leave. At the elevator, they meet a man carrying a basket of deadly hooks. On the other side, Kimberly and the others sense something is wrong.
See that?
Just then, Laura's phone rings and slips from her hand, falling inside the elevator. She bends down to pick it up. It's the cop calling, trying to warn her that a man with hooks is about to kill her. In the very next second, her hair gets entangled in the hooks. She struggles, panicking, trying to free herself. But unfortunately, the elevator doors slide open. She tries to run out, but the doors slam shut, trapping her head in between. Immediately, the elevator starts moving upward, dragging her along. The pressure tightens harder and harder until her head is brutally severed. She drops, lifeless. Eugene is completely terrified. He runs back into the room, traumatized. He grabs the cop's gun, ready to end this whole nightmare once and for all. But the gun doesn't fire. Claire calmly tells him it's not yet his time to die. So now all of them set out to look for the pregnant woman. She's their only chance of survival. On their way, they share their horrifying stories of how each of them cheated death once before. Back in the cell, the pregnant woman is furious for being detained. Suddenly, her water breaks. She's about to give birth. Immediately, she screams for the officer to get her to the hospital as fast as possible. Together, they rush out with her van. But in the next moment, chaos strikes again. Their tires loosen, almost running into the same van coming from the opposite direction. Their vehicle loses control, swerving off the road. Eugene is badly injured, struggling to breathe. Kat is still stuck in the driver's seat, pinned down by a log that has impaled through the vehicle. The ambulance arrives and rushes Eugene to the hospital. But even here, death is still at work. A rock underneath causes the ambulance to start leaking diesel. The cop receives a call. The pregnant woman has already been taken to the hospital for delivery. They have to move immediately. The rescue team arrives to help Kat out of the vehicle. But accidentally, they trigger the airbag, which forcefully launches a metal pipe straight into her forehead, killing her instantly. Her cigarette drops, and somehow it slides straight into the leaking diesel. Boom! A massive explosion erupts. The impact sends a fence wire flying through the air, slicing another man clean in half. I can't take this anymore. I know you already subscribed to this channel. Woo! Thank you. I love you. Kimberly, Claire, and the cop rush straight to the hospital. On the way, Kimberly has another terrifying premonition. She sees a doctor, Eugene, trying to kill Isabella, the pregnant woman. Meanwhile, Isabella is struggling through a complicated delivery. Back at the hospital, Eugene lies on the bed. Hearing the news of the recent deaths, he breaks down completely. But as if that's not enough, death approaches him once again, setting its trap slowly. Just then, Kimberly and the others arrive at the hospital. They rush inside. They have to stop Dr. Eugene before she reaches Isabella. Dr. Eugene is immediately called into the delivery room, but they are fast enough. They intercept her just before she enters. Kimberly rushes into the delivery room, and in that moment,
Isabella successfully delivers her baby. They are relieved. They are happy. They believe it's finally over. They think they have defeated death. After the delivery, death stops. It moves away from Eugene, and for the first time, he breathes freely again. Kimberly and the cop meet up with Clea, and they break the news to her. It's over. They are safe. They smile, but suddenly, Kimberly has another premonition. She sees Isabella standing completely unharmed. That's when it hits her. Isabella was never part of Death's design. They didn't stop anything. Confused, she tries to piece everything together. She sees flashes, a van crashing into a lake, bloody hands. Clea rushes to check on Eugene, but suddenly, a massive explosion erupts, burning her alive like barbecue. Kimberly and the cop barely escape. Then she looks down at her hands, covered in blood, and finally, she understands. The premonition was about her. She sees everything clearly now. Dr. Clugene, the machines, the white van, the lake, the newspaper on the wall, exactly the same. Just like her vision. Now, Kimberly knows what she must do. She has to die. Her final words to the cop, "Get Clugene." Immediately, she runs out, steps into the white van, starts the engine, and drives straight into the lake. The water swallows the van. She begins to drown. The cop chases after her, diving into the water, trying to save her. Haha, I love this. The van door refuses to open. He pulls out his gun and shoots the windshield. Oh my God, she didn't make it. Yeah, somehow he manages to pull her out. Dr. Clugene resuscitates her. The cop is proud. At least he doesn't have to die. They believe they have conquered death at last. Back at home, they all sit together having lunch. A boy named Brian walks over to check the barbecue. Suddenly, an explosion erupts and his hand is served as the barbecue to his own mother. Ooh. The story ends here. Beyond recapped. Watch closely and take care.